Hello students, welcome back to the second part of this lesson. I wouldn't say the second part, but YouTube part 2 of this lesson. Now in the first part we have seen that how the lesson began. How Jomo Kenyatta is trying in the form of a fable, or I would prefer to call it a satire, and how he's making fun of the European imperialism in or on South Africa. So he is making use of these animals who are representing the European imperial colonizing powers. Okay. So yesterday we have seen that a man was living by himself in the forest. He had a hut, and the elephant comes and makes or develops friendship with this man, and how the elephant gains access to the hut of the man and expels the man out. Naturally, the man begins to grumble. As a result, the elephant, the lion, the king of the lion is disturbed because he complains that the peace and tranquility of the forest is disturbed. As a result, he appoints a commission of inquiry. The name of the commission is the Royal Commission of Inquiry. The Imperial Commission of Inquiry. Okay, this commission is constituted, to listen or to conduct the trial. And what is the trial here? Elephant claims that the hut that it is occupying at present belongs to it, or belongs to him or her, whereas the man says that the hut belongs to him. And all of us know that the hut belongs to man. But now the elephant is occupied it. Fine. Now the case is in the court of the commission. The lion has already appointed a commission, the Imperial Commission of Inquiry. Okay. Now today in this lesson, let's go and see the details about the commission. Okay. Details about the commission. Who are the commission members? Okay. At page number 3. The elephant, obeying the command of his master, got busy with other ministers to appoint the commission of inquiry. The following elders of the jungle were appointed to sit in the commission. First, the rhinoceros. The first member of the commission, rhinoceros. Okay, whatever way you can call it. Let's call it as rhinoceros. First member of the commission. Second member, Mr. Buffalo. Okay, now the buffalo can be he buffalo or she buffalo. But if it is Mr. Buffalo, then it must be he buffalo. Number 3, Mr. Alligator. Okay, could call it crocodile or alligator. Mr. Alligator. Number 4, little strange name there you find it. The Right Honorable Mr. Fox, to act as the chairman of the commission. You see, this is not RT, doesn't mean retired, it doesn't mean Rotarian, it means right. Is an honorable term. For example, Hindu Swamis and all, we address them as Shri. Whereas Christian fathers or priests, they are addressed as Father or Reverend Father or Right Reverend Father. Shri. Okay, as many times you say Shri, so much holy or honorable the person is. Similarly, in Western culture, especially ecclesiastical culture, or we could call it as the church practice, where it is called as Right Reverend. Okay, for example, I am called as Reverend Father. The bishop is called as Right Reverend. So RT is a short form for right. Full form is RITE. Remember this, okay? So short form RT. Right Honorable Mr. Fox. We know very well, among the animals, fox is supposed to be very cunning, very intelligent, but very cunning. I wouldn't say intelligent, but cunning animal. So Fox is appointed as the chairman of the commission. I'm sure by now you know very well what the commission would come out with, that is the justice. Because if Fox is there, surely the justice or the findings of the commission would be very cunning. You see how Jomo Kenyatta is making fun of the situation that was prevailing in Africa, in Kenya, and it represents the European Commission, the European members, the European power, right? And then we have got one more, that is Mr. Leopard to act as the secretary to the commission. Leopard is very very cruel of the animal. It hunts very fast and it can run. Cheetah, we call it. It can run very fast and catch the prey very fast. Okay, so act as secretary is the fox is the chairman. Then you can imagine, and leopard is the secretary. Now we know very well what is the commission. What is the commission? We do not know actually whom these animals represent in actuality, but Jomo Kenyatta knows. But very well we can say they represented the different officers, authorities, persons in European Commission, or during the time of Jomo Kenyatta in Kenya or in Africa. On seeing the personnel, the man protested and asked if it was not necessary to include in this commission a member from his side. Now you will find here, let us start from rhino, from there to buffalo, from there to alligator, from there to fox, and then we have got leopard. And you see, the case is between an elephant and a man. Don't you think there should be somebody from man's side, a representative? Otherwise it would be one-sided. And quite normally, quite naturally, the man asks, he says, why isn't a member from my side? You see, the Westerners, the Europeans are educated ones, whereas the African man is not educated. He's an ordinary person. But still he had the sense to ask the question why there is no equal representation. And Europeans, being educated, did not think about the justice even in appointing the members of the commission. That itself shows how corrupt or how unjust they were. So man is questioning why there aren't anybody from his side. And what is the answer that is given? The man protests why there is no one from his side included in the commission. And what is the answer given? You see that the answer given is, it says that, but he was told that it was impossible since no one from his side was well enough educated to understand the intricacy of the jungle law. So the first reason why there isn't anybody from man's side, it is said, well, because he is not well educated to understand intricacies of the jungle law. Intricacies means the complicated issues, different context and different meanings, or what all the law includes. Well, the man, you are unable to understand that because you are uneducated. If you are uneducated, you will not understand the law. For example, even for an ordinary person, we do not understand the different penal laws of Indian Penal Code, IPC. Only the lawyer sees and we believe whatever the lawyer says, because the lawyer has studied the law and we have not studied. He goes and he argues in the court. Either he wins the case for us or sometimes we lose it, and we completely trust to depend on the advocate. Advocate means the helper, because he helps us with regard to law. And here it was said, man, you do not know anything about the law, hence you can't be in the commission. Second reason they have given further, that there was nothing to fear, for the members of the commission were all men of repute for their impartiality in justice, and they were gentlemen chosen by God to look after the interest of race less adequately endowed with the teeth and claws. Second, it was said, the members of the commission are chosen by God. You see, the Europeans were thinking that God has given them power to go and colonize whole world. God has given them power to go and master or establish mastery over others. So they say, well, these are men of good repute, good respect, okay, good honor, and impartial people who always give justice. That is what he was saying. So he was asked, man was told not to get worried because justice would be done. The people are not corrupt. The members of the commission are not corrupt, he was told. And it is said, second part of the statement says that they were gentlemen chosen by God to look after the interests of the race less adequately endowed with the teeth and claws. Teeth and claws refers to the animals. Teeth and claws, teeth. Okay, you imagine the teeth of a lion. And imagine the claws, the paws, claws of a lion, how they prayed. Okay, So you can imagine how the Europeans, looked like as if they had no skin on their face. And directly this injustice is seen here. Then he might rest assured that they would investigate the matter with greatest care and report impartially. And he was told, having said everything, whatever it is, still the justice would be done. Impartial judgment would be imparted, given even without having anybody from his side. So man was told, you need not be there, nobody need to be there, okay, whether they are there or not, okay, you need not worry that animals would get the justice done to themselves. It would be an impartial justice. You see, what we call a kind of white lie was told by the commission to man, and the man believed. Man believed because man was simple. Man believed because man was educated. Man was educated. Okay, right. Now let's see what happens now. Okay, so the commission sits for inquiry. The inquiry begins, or we can say the trial begins. The trial begins. And how does the trial go on now? Okay, let's see. The commission sat to take the evidence. The inquiry begins. Now evidence. Okay, the case has to be presented. Alright, okay. And who comes? The Right Honorable Mr. Elephant was first called. Actually, who was to be called first? It was man, because the hut belonged to man, and man had built that hut. Man was living in that hut, and the elephant had just come in, and the elephant had just asked to keep its trunk to protect it from the torrential rain. But now we see in the beginning itself, something happens here. What is that? Elephant was called first. He came along with a superior air. What do you mean by superior air? It's an idiom, we call it. Superior air refers to feeling great or feeling the other persons are useless, inferior. Okay, the elephant felt that it is greater than the man because it is called first. And they had that attitude. Europeans always had that attitude that they are white-skinned people and they are educated, and the others, especially the colonized people, they are all uneducated and they are less respectful. Okay, so the elephant came with a superior air, brushing his tusks with a sapling which Mrs. Elephant had provided. Very funny element is introduced here. What is that? Elephant had its wife, Mrs. Elephant, and while going for the commission, the elephant is supposed to go well dressed or present itself very good, because Europeans, they are always sophisticated people. They came with the suit, tie and pants and shoes, whereas the ordinary people didn't have, especially the Africans did not have anything. So it came with superior air, and the elephant was asked or supplied a sapling. Sapling refers to a plant where with that plant the elephant cleaned its tusks. The elephant has two tusks. Okay, two tusks. Okay, danta we call it, ivory. Okay, so the two tusks were cleaned so that it may shine. Okay, and the Mrs. Elephant helps the elephant to clean its tusks. Okay. The elephant had provided, and in an authoritative voice said, authoritative voice, meaning to say, they already had that authority. When do we feel when authority? When we think that the others are below, we always speak in authority. For example, in an institutional setup, a principal always speaks with authority because he has got that. In the classroom, the lecturer, the teacher speaks with authority. Okay. Similarly here, the elephant with an authoritative voice said, "Gentlemen of the jungle." Who are these gentlemen now? All these animals, starting from rhino, buffalo, alligator, fox, and then we have got the last person, that is the secretary. Who is that? That is leopard. Okay. Gentlemen of the jungle, there is no need for me to waste your valuable time in relating a story which I am sure you all know. Okay, you see here, the elephant comes and says, there was no point in wasting time on an issue well known to the commission. Now the question is this: how did the commission know before anybody could narrate? Because the problem was between the elephant and the man. Of course, there was some noise. But these members are chosen. And how did they know? Which means all things are preoccupied, prejudiced. It is decided. Okay? It is decided. Meaning to say, the Europeans had already decided different techniques how to keep the man quiet. How to keep the man quiet. So it says, I need not waste my time in narrating something that you know very well. Very well. I have always regarded it as my duty to protect the interest of my friends. And this appears to have caused the misunderstanding between myself and my friend here. Now the elephant says, I have a principle in my life. Okay, what is the principle? I always work for the betterment of my friends, or I always try to protect the interest, good of my friends. And the same thing has caused a problem here, it says. What is that? Problem between man and animal. Meaning to say, elephant says that it has not done anything wrong. In fact, it has helped the man. How? In what way? What way? You see, very interesting thing. Elephant says, he invited me to save his hut from being blown away by a hurricane. Who invited? Man invited. Did man invite? We all know man never invited. In other words, Europeans were not invited by the Africans. Africans themselves came. Elephant itself came to man and said, give me some place, some space to save its trunk from the torrential rain. But here, elephant, narrates a different story, cooked up story. We say concocted story, made up story. And he says, what is that? Man invited. And why did man invite? There was a hurricane, there was a storm, there was a wind. And in the process, there was a possibility of hut being blown away. Ordinary hut usually gets blown away. So he says, there was a possibility, or rather to save the hut from being blown away, man invited me into the hut. Then, as the hurricane had gained access owing to the unoccupied space in the hut, I considered it necessary in my friend's own interest to turn the undeveloped space to a more economic use by sitting in it myself. Now the elephant says, well, when I entered the hut, I found there was some space and that was not occupied by anybody. Okay, imagine there is some say 20 feet, okay, 10 feet or 100 square feet space inside the hut. And I saw man had occupied only say 10 to 20 square foot, which means the rest around 80 square feet land space was left unoccupied. Nobody was there. Now there was a possibility that the hurricane would enter the hut, and where there is nothing, the wind occupies the place. As a result, the hut would be blown away. And the elephant says, I went and occupied that unoccupied place. I went and occupied that undeveloped place, okay, and made the right use, the economic use. Otherwise, if I had not to go inside the hut, that place would have remained as it is, vacant. Okay, you have studied in science. If it is vacant, then the wind comes and occupies that place. When in a bottle, if there is nothing, there is only wind, there is only blow. Okay, air. So similarly, it says the space was unoccupied, so I went and occupied. Now what did I do? I made the economic use of the space, right use of the space. If not me, nobody would have done that. I have not done anything wrong. And why did I do this? In the interest of my friend. Who is a friend? Man. Okay, elephant says, it did all these things to protect the man or man's hut from being blown away by the hurricane. A duty which any of you would undoubtedly have performed with equal readiness in similar circumstance. And the elephant also says, it's not only me. In my place, if any one of you, that is the members of the commission, it can be rhino, it can be buffalo, it can be alligator or fox or leopard. Even if you were there, you would have done the same thing. Meaning to say, the elephant has not done anything wrong. And this is how the elephant goes and deposes or presents its case in front of the commission. You know very well, already the case is decided, isn't it? It is decided, in fact, before the commission was formed. Okay, now I want you to understand the story format and the meaning behind. After hearing the Right Honorable Mr. Elephant's conclusive evidence, conclusive means it contains everything, there is nothing that is left out. It is not conclusive. Inclusive we say, conclusive we say, okay. It contains everything. Exclusive also we say, only full, there is nothing left out. Conclusive evidence, meaning to say conclusion is already drawn. Drawn. There is no need for man to come inside now. Let's see whether man would be allowed to speak. The commission called Mr. Hyena and other elders of the jungle, who all supported what elephant had said. Now you require some proof. So Mr. Hyena, you know, something looks like, you know, in between a dog or a fox or something like that. Okay, a little dirty animal. Hyena was called. Okay, and other elders of the jungle, other animals were called, and all supported what elephant said. They said, elephant has done right. Elephant has done right. Okay, now what happened? Then man was called. Man was called. Okay, they then called the man, who began to give his own account of the dispute. You know what the man would say? Man would say, he was alone in the forest. He had built a hut. One fine day, elephant came and asked for some space to keep its trunk, to save it from the torrential rain. Though there was not enough space, still he allowed, and then the elephant pushed him outside the hut. So hut should be given back to him. This is what the man would say. And the man began. Did they allow him to speak? Began to give his own account of the dispute. But the commission cut him short, saying, commission did not allow him to speak. What did they say? My good man. You see how they are buttering man. In other words, we say colloquially, they are muscifying the man. My good man, please confine yourself to relevant issues. Okay, they tell him, confine, limit yourself to relevant issues. We do not want to listen to all that blah 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 you are saying. We don't want to listen because we have already heard from the elephant conclusive evidence. We have already heard the circumstances from various unbiased sources. Unbiased, biased, prejudiced means unbiased, meaning to say without any prejudices, without any partiality. In fact, they are very much biased. They are very much prejudiced. They are very much partial. But you see, we have heard it from unbiased sources. We already heard the circumstances from various unbiased, unprejudiced, impartial sources. All we wish to tell you is whether the undeveloped space in your hut was occupied by anyone else before Mr. Elephant assumed his position. So he was asked only one question. What was the question? Tell us whether the space, undeveloped space, was occupied by anybody prior to elephant. You see how the man is caught here? Was the space occupied by anybody? Nobody. Man was living alone. So now we have already seen how the elephant argued, saying that it has done a great hate to man by occupying not man's space in the hut, but unoccupied space or undeveloped space or vacant space. In other words, it looks man has not done anything. Elephant has not done anything wrong. Even if elephant was not to go, the space would have remained vacant. That's how the elephant has argued. So in a similar style, they asked the question whether that unoccupied space was occupied by anybody prior to elephant. Of course, man has to say no, and man would not say yes. You know why? Man knows to speak only the truth. He sees the simpleton. He doesn't know the intricacies. He is not aware the hidden agenda. He is not aware why the commission is trying to do all these things. So he says, yeah. The man began to say, no, yes, the space was not occupied, but. He wanted to say but. What is that but? That hut belongs to him. Okay, but at this point, the commission declared that they had heard sufficient evidence from both the sides and retired to consider their decision. Now the commission said, enough. The case is decided. We will come out with our judgment. We will come out with our decision. Okay. So trial is over. Now what is going to be the decision? Will the commission say the hut belongs to man? Will the commission say the hut belongs to animal? We do not know, but we can guess very well what it is going to be. But we will study the rest of the lesson, the story, in the third part of this lesson. Third part, very soon it will come out.